I was called into the office at Ares Prime, and the same captain that I had seen gutted informed me that I was not stable enough for them, that they couldn't trust me. And this was in 1990. And they refitted me with a different chip and said I was going to be assigned to a ship as a navigator. Navigators don't plot courses. Navigators will set the coordinates for where the ship is going to go, but you have to have someone watching 24/7 because there are critters in space. Some of them are plasma critters that feed off the engines, and some of them are physical beings that are just out in space. If you think of space as like an ocean, you get more of an idea of what it really is like. It's not an empty vacuum. There are solar winds, there are magnetic currents, there are electric currents, and there are a lot of critters out there that have evolved to feed off of them. And some of them are really big. Some of them are bigger than asteroids, and others are just these little guys that'll cover your engine and just feed off of it and lower your efficiencies. Some of them are too big for the I just blanked on shielding, because there's electromagnetic shielding around all the ships. That's why when you take a picture of one of them, that it's never in focus, because the shielding shimmers on its own. So if it's a really tight, crisp shot, it's a fake. But yeah, you have your shielding on, and that takes care of the small stuff. It's like an electric fence. It shocks them and they go away. But you have to have somebody that's watching what's in front of you, so that if something big is there, you can go around it. And so we had this freighter that transported slaves and cyborgs back and forth. And there were 3 of us who were the navigators, and we had 10-hour shifts so that we would rotate through. You might actually end up with a day off that way. 2 of us were female and 1 was male, and we had all gotten in trouble in whatever colony we were in. And that's important to know, okay, because the chip that they use makes it where you are not an independent person anymore. You are an extension of the ship's computer. And we were never allowed off ship. So no matter where we went, we were on ship. And we were on that ship until we were discharged. Now, I have found out that the name of our ship was the Zollheimen. I believe that was an officer's name, that the ship was named after a German fleet officer. And Normally, in all of the German things, they just, anybody that has the same job, they put them all in the same room and you function like a unit. But in our case, they put the women in one room and the man in the other. So we were separated. And a lot of my memory of that time was stored on the ship's computer instead of in my head. So I don't have a lot of details about where we went or what all we did. Now, I do know we transported prisoners of war from joint Draco-German, what do they call them? Tactical events. That's what they called them. It was small planets decided to rebel. Have you seen that short video called Raqqa?
Is that the one with the reptilians?
It's the one with the reptilian invasion of Earth.
Yeah.
That is a correct depiction of what we did to these planets. We would go in and instead of just killing them outright, the Germans would take them back to the various processing plants run by the ICC, and they would be converted into cyborgs and sold to ETs. The big thing with all of the secret space programs, the goal is to come up with as much advanced ET tech as they can in as short a time as they can. And they're kidnapping at least 2 million Earth humans a year, and these prisoners of war are in addition to that. Humans have something called a metagene that allows us to get scared and lift a truck off of our kid. Okay, it allows us to do impossible things. This was an accident of our genetics. The rest of the universe doesn't have it, and they want it. So they keep looking for human tissue samples so they can figure out what it is that's doing this. And because the powers that be have gone through human history, and there are some areas where they have been so anti-witchcraft that they've almost completely eliminated that gene from their population. And then there are other areas where that they honored the shaman, and so they have a higher incidence of it. And so tissue samples from peoples that have higher metagene are incredibly valuable. And a lot of the people that were kidnapped for the secret space program come from those groups. And they make clones of us regularly and convert these clones into cyborgs, and the leftover pieces they sell to other ETs that are looking for metagene. So those of us who served are not exempt from this any more than the people who are kidnapped. They're now taking samples from the people they kidnap and making clones of them. So my understanding is that instead of 2 million a year total cyborgs, we're up to 100,000 a day of total cyborgs. And we have plants on Mars and Ceres and the Moon, and a huge one on Pluto. Almost almost unbelievable numbers.
So what are these ETs like building an army with these cyborgs? Or what exactly?
Some of them are army, because there are at least 6 major interstellar wars going on that have been going on for millions of years. Others are becoming personal slaves. You know, you want somebody to attend to your every whim? Get a cyborg. They don't think of them as people or beings. They think of them as robots. Because they just have enough tissue and consciousness to run the tech. All of the ET tech requires a consciousness. You can't run ET tech by a robot. And there's plenty of robots out there. The really little grays, the ones that are about 2-3 feet tall, those are all robots. Mm-hmm. They don't have consciousness. They're just robots. Those things that come and you hear about them kidnapping humans all the time for this, that, or the other, those are robots. They have no minds. Then there are 2 human, American-based mercenary companies. One's called Kruger and one's called Monarch. And they take clones of SSP people, and they purchase an altar to run the clone. You can be on Earth in your bed asleep at night, and they'll show up with portal tech, and they'll take you to their headquarters or their base, and they'll sit you in a chair, and they'll transfer your consciousness into the clone that they've had in stasis. Then they'll wake up that altar, and they'll put your body into stasis for the duration, and they might keep you for 50 years. And then when they're done, they put you back into your body. They use the process in reverse and take you back to the coordinates they got you from. I know this sounds insane, but I've had them take me as many as 4 times in a night for that type of operation. I have 2 altars that are in Kruger and 1 in Monarch. And there's no stopping them. I have fought. I have told them, I've served enough. You don't own me. I'm a person. I'm not a thing. And they don't care. They'll just zap me with something to knock me out and take me. And I wake up with marks. I wake up with my blood sugar outrageously high. And I'm a diabetic. I have to do my blood test every morning when I get up. And it's a 40-point jump whenever they take me. So you can track through my blood tests and see exactly when I've been taken. I don't have full memory because most of it's mindless repetition